and welcome to the Lightseers and Mystics Haven podcast. I'm Erica, an intuitive tarot reader, energy worker, and seeker of cosmic wisdom. With a Virgo sun, Cancer moon, and Gemini rising, I weave together deep introspection, emotional intuition, and a love of storytelling. As a 6'2" pure generator in human design and a master number 22 in numerology, my purpose is to guide, create, and inspire. This podcast is an extension of my Substack, The Lightseers and Mystics Haven, a sacred space where we explore tarot, astrology, human design, and many of the other unseen forces shaping our lives. Whether you're here for insight, self-discovery, or a touch of magic, you're in the right place. So take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's dive into the mysteries together. Hey, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Lightseers and Mystics Haven podcast. Happy New Year! I am so grateful to be stepping into this powerful new cycle with you. We are finally crossing the threshold into 2026, and we find ourselves at the beginning of a 1 year in numerology. This is a powerful time of initiation, leadership, and planting seeds. The 1 year is like a fresh beginning, a new start. It gives us courage and clarity. I think of it like the Ace of Wands, the Fool, and the Magician all rolled into one, because it's kind of this invitation to create from this new sense of self, this ability to listen to all those things that have been calling us from within and use that to take bold, inspired steps forward. We're transitioning out of the year of the snake, so we're shedding that skin, right? We're moving into the year of the fire horse, and this kind of shift is especially rare. The snake helped us last year to shed old skins, slither through all of that stuff that was uncomfortable, and it allowed us to give a deep dive into our inner worlds. And I don't know about you, but it was extremely uncomfortable. And I did feel like I left so much of an old me behind. There came a point, and there'll probably be a future episode where I talk about this, but I definitely, on that last full moon of 2025, felt like I killed an old version of myself with love and gratitude, but she's gone. And now we go into this year with the fire horse, right? It rides in with this passion, this transformation, all of this momentum. And there's some traditions, because it's not just the horse, but it's the fire horse. So there's other beliefs that look at this as that phoenix energy, rising from the ashes, that fierce and just beautiful light. It's the energy of being unapologetically you and moving forward with this purpose. And we do so, right? Whether the path is new or wild or even a little scary, but we're still moving forward. We have that momentum. And on top of all of that energy that we're moving into, if you're listening today as I'm recording this on January the 3rd, you're feeling this pull of the full Wolf moon, which also happens to be a supermoon today. And this moon is about instinct, illumination, reclaiming your voice. It's a time to honor that wild that's within. Howl if you need to. And, it's just a chance to see all those things that have been lurking in the dark and see them clearly, right? Because that wolf has that good night vision. And this moon could also be bringing up some ancestral threads, like some of the things that you may feel like you've had that kind of gives you that resistance from shining your light. Some of that doesn't even belong to you. It could be old, inherited energy that's been passed down by people who had to hide to survive. But we don't have to carry those stories anymore. This wolf moon reminds us that we belong to a lineage of survivors, and it's time for us to do more than just survive now. It's time for us to shine. And that brings us to this episode. This episode's all about letting your light shine, even when it feels hard, actually, especially when it feels hard. Because it's about understanding why we dim our light and reclaiming our light so that we can shine anyway, even when it's uncomfortable and scary or difficult. If there's one truth that I've come to recognize, it's this. We don't have to light the whole world. My bishop from my old church used to say that. He would say, just light the corner where you are. That's enough. It's more than enough, because that light has a ripple effect and it gives others permission to shine as well. This episode was actually born from a conversation in my book club earlier last week, and I was referencing, some of the things, the reasons why we should let our light shine. And I was talking about how when we let our light shine, it allows others to have permission to shine theirs as well. And one of the women from the book club recognized this. I guess it's also lines in this poem that she shared. It was really beautiful. It's called Our Deepest Fear by Marianne Williamson. And I'm going to read it really quick because I just thought that this was so fitting. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I loved that when she shared it. I was just like, this is, so perfect and synchronistic. It was just a beautiful segue into why we dim our lights. So let's talk about that, right? Why do we dim our lights in the first place? Because sometimes it's survival. Sometimes it could be the programming or conditioning that we've grown up with. And sometimes it's how we feel like we protect ourselves. Maybe you were told growing up that being too loud, too smart, too confident, too joyful made other people uncomfortable. So you learned to tone it down, to quiet yourself, make yourself small. And it's possible that when you were doing so, you were praised more for being small and quiet and helpful or invisible than you would be for being bold and honest and letting that light shine bright. And that conditioned you over the years. You could have even seen what happened to other people who dared to shine, right? Because deep down you made that vow, like, oh, no, I see what happened to them and I'm not going to let that happen to me. We often dim our light because somewhere along the way, we were taught that it's not safe to be seen, that visibility meant vulnerability. This is the one that definitely resonates for me. I learned from a very, very young age to be small, be silent, because I've already talked about the background that I grew up in, the childhood and all of the abuse that happened there. But because of that abuse, I learned, especially with my one uncle who was a very violent alcoholic, I learned to listen and, check the cues for whether he's been drinking or not. And then based off of that, whether I could be seen throughout the house, whether I should be hiding away, whether I should not make noise to draw any kind of attention to myself. I learned that it was safer to be quiet and to not be seen, to dim that light, because, if they don't see you, they don't hurt you. Another reason we might dim our light is because we feel different, and feeling and being different also means being judged. We want to fit in. Sometimes that's ingrained in us. And this one's another one that hits home because especially present in my astrology, like all of the things, all of the charts, they all point to me not fitting in. And I believe I've touched on it in the past, how being judged was a big barrier for me for stepping out and stepping into my own. And so there's probably going to be a future episode that touches on that, where I give you guys more of my background. But I just wanted to emphasize that, the feeling and being different is one of the reasons, and that fear of judgment because of that is one of the reasons that we might dim our light. The other one is sometimes, and this is part of the me that I buried with last year, right? But it's because we feel like we're shining so bright that all of the attention and the spotlight would be on us, and that means we're susceptible to being burned, right? Because with that attention on us, any little mistake, anything that's not perfect, and here comes that Virgo filter, right? Anything that's not perfect means that I could also crash, or like, what if I'm wrong? What if all this attention's on me and I get it wrong? Then how embarrassing is that, etc. I would, like, if this was me of last year, right now I'd be struggling to record this because all of the traffic that's happening outside of my house that I'm sure is being picked up in the background. That fear of, oh my gosh, there's going to be people who don't like it because the background noise is distracting them, and all of the ums and likes and pauses. Guys, I used to record episodes like 6 or 7 times because I didn't like all of my pauses and all of the ums and likes. But I'm realizing in this me that that's something that I can fine tune along the way. That's something that I'm allowed to grow through. And then future me will be able to get the chance to look back at these episodes and recognize how far I've come. I don't have to be a perfect podcaster right now with, I don't have a soundproof studio, and that's okay. That's okay. I still have a message. I still have learning and something to share. And that's what this is all about. Like, that's the whole point. That's what I had to get through last year and not make me pause. That's the skin I had to shed, was feeling like all of this had to be perfect, and being afraid to make mistakes, and being afraid for people to see that I make mistakes and that I'm not perfect, and that, I would be under the scrutiny of the world, when I intend for this to hit who it's supposed to hit. I want my light to tell somebody else it's okay. If it's not perfect, it's okay. Even if 2 people hear your message and it makes a difference for them, then so be it. That is as it was supposed to be. And the other thing that I like that the poem touched on this. The other thing that we tend to dim our lights on, and we have to be honest about this, is that we don't want other people to feel bad. We are scared of being too much and losing relationships, or being called arrogant or full of ourselves because we dared to proclaim that there's something special about me that I want to share with the world, or that I have to share with the world. We get afraid that that's ego. And I think, does that exist? Yes, but it's up to us to evaluate whether that's what we're speaking from or not. And I believe when we're doing something like this that says, hey, yes, I'm important and I matter, and what I have to say might be important and matter for someone else, then that's important to go with. Because here's the truth. Dimming your light doesn't protect other people. It deprives them. It robs the world of what you have to offer, of your version of medicine. And it teaches people that they should dim their light too, when that's not what we're doing here. We've become a society that confused humility with hiding, and we've confused silence with safety. This new year, this cycle, we are shedding that skin. We can acknowledge that all of those things might happen. I might have people who hear this and it's not for them, or they're distracted and they can't listen to these episodes because of whatever's going in the background, or I didn't edit out enough ums and uhs and all of that. But we are being asked to shine anyway. I am going to publish this anyway, and those who it's meant to reach are going to get it, because it's not fair for me to stop the message that comes through me that I'm honored to receive. It's not fair for me to stop that just because of fear of who it's not for. If it doesn't hit for someone, it wasn't supposed to. And I've learned to accept that, because I know that my light is healing. And this is why it's important for it to shine, because it is activating. It is magic. It is divine. I am calling in the beauty that comes from a message on the other side to motivate people on this one. I'm building that community. I'm helping to teach others to let their light shine. I don't have to be the one who blows up to be millions. I'm okay with being the person in the background, that teacher who inspired somebody else who is going to be the Gandhi, the Jesus, or the Yeshua, or whoever of our day. When we let our light shine, we do more than just show up authentically. We're sending out a signal to the universe, to others, and even younger versions of ourselves, because time isn't linear. It's all happening now. We're healing our younger self now by what we're doing. But we're sending that signal saying it's safe to be seen. It's safe to be real, to be your authentic you. It's safe to take up space. We're not meant to be carbon copies, Stepford wives, this Stepford community of it. We don't need all of the same. Your uniqueness might be the one that speaks directly to someone who's been walking through darkness, and that candle, that flashlight, that lighthouse was exactly what they needed, because that truth might be the one that helps someone else find theirs. And they might help somebody else find theirs. And it ripples out. Your courage could be the spark that ignites someone else's fire, someone else's flame that started to dim. Going back to Rumi, one of the things he wrote is, don't you know yet? It is your light that lights the world. It's not someone else's light. It's yours. And when we all do that, when we all allow ourselves to glow without apology, our world begins to shift. We start to lift each other higher. We start dismantling old systems of silence and shame and playing small. And all of that continues to ripple outward. And that's how we illuminate all of the things that are possible. And all of that illumination helps us to remember who we are, not just individually, but as a collective. We remember that we're healers, we're creators, visionaries, lovers, mystics, guides. We have something to give into this world. We begin to embody that beautiful paradox. We are the light, and we're here to hold it. We're here to shine and hold that light for others so that they can shine as well. Let's talk about how we can do this, right? How can we actually start this rippling effect? Because shining your light, even if that light is just a candle, even if it's just a match, it doesn't mean that you have to start a movement or launch a platform or shout your truth from the mountaintops. Sometimes it starts with a whisper. Sometimes it starts with reclaiming a single quiet moment for yourself. We can start with baby steps, gentle ways to honor your light. You can start with just speaking your truth in safe spaces, even if your voice shakes. And if you're not comfortable with speaking it out loud, you can start with a journal. If you don't want to speak it into a crowd, start with a trusted friend. Or write a note to yourself on the mirror. You just reclaim what makes you feel alive. Those things that you've stopped doing because maybe somebody told you they're not important, they're not productive, they're not useful, put that out the window. If it's something that brought joy to you, that lit you up, like painting, dancing, gardening, just singing in the car, whatever it is that brings you that light, it lights you up from inside, do more of that. That stuff that makes you feel alive, it gives other people permission to. You could be the person that I pull up next to, that I see singing along to their jams, and that puts a smile on my face. Another way is to stop apologizing for being too much. That's one of my goals this year, is to stop apologizing. Stop apologizing for being too loud or too sensitive or too emotional or for being too passionate. However you showed up in that moment could be right on time. It could be what was necessary. Let yourself take up space. Wear that outfit. Post that picture. Take that trip. Take up that space in your body, your energy, and your presence. Sometimes it's that simple. Sometimes it can be that small. Those baby steps that say, I'm here and it's okay that I'm here. Sometimes though, on the flip side, letting your light shine can also look like setting boundaries. It can be knowing when to say no, when to allow yourself rest, and when to walk away from the things that dim your light. I want to point that out too, because I think that that's important. It doesn't just mean the bright showing up. Sometimes letting yourself be seen by setting a boundary, and that's being the thing that's standing out. Being the one to say no, being the one to say enough. Those are also important ways of shining your light, because that's going against the grain. That's what the light is, right? If what you see is in the dark, being the one to point that out is also shining in the light. And as you start to do these smaller things and you get ready to be bolder, there's even bigger things you can do. You can join a conversation that matters, whether it's about healing, justice, love, truth, whatever it is. Use your voice, because I guarantee somebody is waiting to hear it. And if there's not conversations happening for you to join, then you be the one to start the conversation. Create something, share it. It could be a poem, a podcast, a painting, a post. It could be a quote that just popped into you. Just let your creativity spill out, and don't let perfectionism cage it in. As you get bolder, maybe you're going to end up stepping into a leadership role, whatever that means for you. You could be somebody who's holding space for others, who's a teacher, a facilitator, or even just somebody who takes what they're doing and models that in this is what living your truth looks like. Whatever that is. Tell your story. Own it. Don't leave out the messy parts. Claim the miraculous ones. Let it all in there, because there is power in every part of your journey. And whatever your values are, live those values out loud. All the choices that you make, let them be reflections of what's in your soul, because you don't have to convince anybody of anything. Your energy speaks for you. Through all of this, keep in mind, like my bishop said, you're not responsible for lighting the whole world. You just need to light the corner where you are. And sometimes that corner becomes a beacon. That beacon becomes a ripple. That ripple starts a wildfire of liberation and truth for everyone else. So as we step into this 1 year, this year of something new, this year of the fire horse, this era of renewal and this radiant becoming, I invite you to look within, to find the ember that's still glowing, that needs to be nourished. Even if it's small, even if it's buried beneath years, decades, generations of doubt or dimming, give it a gentle fan, blow on it a little, let it grow, because the world doesn't need you to be perfect. It doesn't need you to be all polished and shiny. It just needs you to be lit from within, because I promise you, your light has probably already made someone's path brighter, whether you know it or not. So don't be afraid. Speak the truth. Dance the dance. Write the words. Love out loud. And live like your very existence is a spell of liberation, because it is. And if you ever doubt the power of your own light, just remember, the moon never questions her reflection. Seeds never apologize for taking root. They just want to grow. The flame doesn't ask for permission to burn. You are the light. You always have been. You're just now remembering it. So please, please, please go ahead and shine. Thank you for hanging in there, as this episode's a lot longer than the other ones have been. But if it resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you, or I'd love for you to share it with a friend who might need a little reminder that their light matters too. And you could take a moment to rate or review this podcast, however you're listening to it, whether it's through Substack, through YouTube, or through Spotify. All of those things help others find this space. And this is my way of letting my light shine. So the more that I can have help with that light reflecting out to other people who it's meant to find, I appreciate it so much. And if you feel called, you can comment or message me with one small way that you're choosing to shine this week. Maybe it's by speaking up or allowing yourself to rest. Maybe it's creating something that's just for you, big or small. All of it matters, because your light is sacred. And I thank you so much for letting me witness it. Until next time, keep tending that flame. Keep letting it grow. Because remember, you were never meant to stay in the dark. Merry meet and merry part, and merry meet again.